Hi everyone. In today's video, we're going to learn functions in JavaScript. We are going to know what is a function and how to declare a function. Without further ado, let's get started. So, here I've already created a functions.js file, which is linked to HTML file. And what is a function exactly? A function provides organized way to write reusable code and prevent us to be redundant. It means with function we can write a logic which is reusable. For example, we can write a function within a file and then we can reuse this logic in another file. Let's see how we can declare a function. To declare a function in JavaScript, we use the function keywords and then the name of the function and then parentheses, then two curly braces. This is how we declare our function. And then within this function is here we have to put our logic here. And then we can call our function once we have already written our function. For example, we can write a function that is going to return, that is going to check if the user age is greater than 10. This is a function, for example. And then we are going to call our function. This is how we call a function, the name of the function and two parentheses. Now, let's create a function that is going to check if the user age is greater than 10. Let's comment this and then function check user age. And then we're going to write our logic within the function. If, let's first declare variable, let's user age. And then we assign a value to this variable, 20. And then we are going to say, if the user age is greater than 18, the user is allowed to enter into the cinema. For example, if user age is greater than 18, we are going to console.log user is allowed to enter into the cinema. This is our small function. It is check if a user age is greater than 18. Okay, and then we are going to call our function check user age. How, like this. Let's run our program. Okay, inspect and see what we get into the console. Here we are getting user is allowed to enter into the cinema. This is how it works. It means we can reuse this logic within another function, or we can call the same logic. Now, this I showed you how to declare a function, but also a function has parameter. Parameter are variables that can be passed into a function like this. Function with parameter. For example, param1, param2. A function can have more than one parameter, even param2. Okay, like this. Params represent variable that are passed to a function. Instead of declaring a variable within a function here, like we did here, we can just simply declare the variable out of the function, and then we can pass this variable as a parameter to a function like this. We can change our function to be this. Let's copy our function and then call it here. Let's comment check user age with parameter, with param. And then here, let me remove the let user age outside of the function and then pass here user age. And then once I call our function, we are going to pass user age as parameter. we didn't call the check user age function. Here, we just still getting user is allowed to enter into this name. This is how a function works. Here, instead of declaring a variable within a function, we can just pass it as a parameter. For example, we can enter also the username. For example, yeah, let's username, and then the username is John Smith, and then let's pass here username, and here let's say const user info, and then we are going to parse it the username, and then we concatenate dash dash user age, and then here user info, and then user info, say user, like this, and then we are getting user. Let's pass username to our parameter. Here we don't see the username. Our program doesn't display the username because we didn't provide the username. If we come over here within our check user age with run function, and then console user name, we are going to get undefined. Yeah, we are getting undefined because we didn't specify a value to our function. And then here we are going to pass the username, and then we are getting user const user info. Here should const user info, const user double column John Smith 20 years 20. Okay, this is how we pass a parameter into a function. A function can have more than one parameter, but also a function can return a value. This is another property of a function. A function can return a value. For example, we can write a function that is going to return the user age, maybe the username. Function get user name, and then our function is going to take a parameter, which is a variable that is passed to a function, username, and then within our function we have to include within it a return keyword, which is going to return to the function this variable, return, like this, and then we're going to pass the username. And then here, let's move this up, the get username, and then here I'm calling the user get username function, get username. Here, let's say I'm going to pass it the name Isaac, and then here we don't see anything. Let me comment this function that we are calling. Here we don't see anything into the console. Now this function is returning this value here. It's like we are storing this value into the function, and then we can store that value into a variable. For example, let's user info, and then we can console user info to the console. Here we have user info. Here we can console the user info into the console. As you can see, we just stored our user info into a variable, and then we can see here Isaac. That's the name we print. Our function here is returning the username. That is how a function can be used within a program. Don't forget to subscribe, and I see you in the next one.